It says live, I guess. Let's see if it's actually live. It looks like we're live.
Oh,
All right. Let's send the link out.
yay! Hmm. Hmm. Oh, give me 1 second to grab something.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. There we go.
All right. All right. So, the night is short, walk on girl.
Yes, and the night is short. Chris needs sleep, and yet here I.
Wait, I got my mic settings wrong. There we go. I think my mic settings should be right now, set to the right mic. Did you was that a tap in that you just heard on the
Yes.
mic there? All right. Fantastic. Oh, well, hey. Fuck. Works better if I actually share the link. I didn't actually share the link.
Good job, jackass.
I know, right? But anyone watching this in the archives, can you tell that we haven't done many live streams before?
Yes, Miss Pie. So yeah, holy shit, Fathom events are fucking expensive.
Yeah, a bit. I think $13 is what my ticket was.
Yep, same here.
So, let me just pull it up, see if I can see the. Okay, at least mute it if nothing else. Probably pause the video, see if. See if we get a live chat or something.
One day we'll figure out.
Pop out chat. There we go. Hopefully there'll actually be a live chat. All right. So I don't know if anyone's watching, but Chris and I just watched The Night is Short, Walk On Girl. It was Chris's first time seeing the movie, yes?
Yes.
And it was my fourth time seeing the movie.
Jesus, dude. What were the previous 3 times?
Let's see here. First time was shortly after it came out and was translated because at that point, like, we had no clue whether or not we were going to get it. It's a Yuasa thing. He was pretty obscure before Devilman Crybaby came out and blew up. Second time was with a friend who likes Yuasa who hadn't seen it. Third time was when I went to Colorado and watched it with my buddy while high. So,
how was the high experience? Although I know your experience being high was not a pleasant one.
This, I believe, was this was after I had mostly come down from that. So it was weird because I was coming down from a high. I was doing a little bit of drinking, and the elevation was messing with me. So, yeah, I've been drinking every time I've watched it. Tonight, I drank probably the least. But I
may as well live up to the spirit of the movie, eh?
I know. Like you gotta drink while watching The Night Is Short, Walk On Girl. It like especially rum. You specifically have to drink rum. You know, it's like it's part of the movie.
Alas, an experience I will never have.
Yeah, I feel.
Alexa, play Despacito.
You motherfucker. But yeah, this was my first time watching the GKIDS translation. The thing I found weirdest was some of the translations they went with, because they didn't really do a lot of localization at all. In fact, they flat out left girl, or they left Otome untranslated, which was an unusual choice, but I guess
it works.
Yeah, part of the reason for that, I think, was because none of these characters are actually named. Otome is the closest thing that she has to a name.
Yeah.
And now
she's a real cutie.
Yeah, she is. She's a great character too. So,
yeah. God damn, this movie was good.
Yeah, oh man, I was so happy to be able to watch it in theaters. And the thing is, like, it's gotten better for me every time I've watched it, just because, like, it's not just a good movie. It's a very dense movie.
Yeah, it honestly got me to thinking. There was, oh god, what's his name? The droopy ears, the
Rihaku,
yes,
Rihaku, yeah.
With him talking about how like time is slower when you're older, and I'm just like, I felt like I watched a whole goddamn anime series in an hour and a half. And
yeah,
I was like,
no,
holy fuck, am I getting old?
It's amazing. It messes with time, and like, again, this is my fourth time viewing it, but it was only this time I realized, oh, the night is life. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of themes and ideas they go for, but like that first part makes it pretty clear that, you know, when they're saying the night is short, walk on girl, essentially the title means, you know, life is short, make the most of it.
Yeah. And there's a couple things I want to say about my movie viewing experience first.
Okay.
One, I almost had the shit scared out of me because the volume went out during like some of the preview event stuff.
Oh.
And they like barely got it on. They got it on like just as the Toho, little boom thing goes up. And I'm just Two, seat assignments in movie theaters is bullshit.
What? Sorry, and what's bullshit?
Seat assignments in movie theaters.
You got a seat assignment?
Yeah, because like when I went to get my ticket, they gave me the screen like, here are the seats available, and it was like 5 seats. And I picked the one that was like had two empty seats next to me, so people would kind of be like I don't want to sit like in between two people. It's strategic placement. But when I got in there, like it seemed like all the seats. It seemed like we were going to have a full house. It was only a half house.
That's still pretty good. Like,
yeah, but still, I could have gotten a better seat.
We had probably about 10 to 15 people in our theater.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a smaller theater, but I think that's still about 20 people.
Yeah.
But yeah, still though, I could have got myself a better seat. I was in a seat.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of wish I was closer to people or able to talk to people a little more, just because Yuasa is my guy. I love Yuasa as a director. I wanted to talk to people.
See the interview at the end.
I did. I almost left, and like there were two other people. Like I stayed through the credits, and it was like, okay, well, I'll watch these credits, and then I start walking out, and there's two other people walking out with me, and then the interview comes on. We all just kind of stand there a moment, and we're like, oh, it's an interview, and we realize, oh, this may go on for a bit. Okay, so we sit down, and I think that was really nice. That really helped a lot.
I didn't even like go back to my seat. I just flung myself into the closest chair.
Yeah, same. Like I didn't go back. It was just nearest empty seat.
And like the theater I was in had like recliners, so I just like it was really reclined down. The one I flung myself in, so I was just like there was like an extra foot of fall that I wasn't prepared
for. So here's my question for you. You haven't seen the Tatami Galaxy, have you?
I have seen one episode.
A random episode that I made you watch. The blow up doll episode. So you had the context for that scene then.
Yes, I did, and I loved it.
I was so happy. I was like, oh, Chris is actually going to get this one. Because I thought that was the one that I'd had you watch.
Yeah. You know what? I'm glad Kaoru's doing good for herself. I'm glad she's involved with theater.
I mean, with some of these things, I had to wonder, like, what were people who hadn't seen the Tatami Galaxy thinking? Because it's pretty standalone for the most part, but there's some stuff that, like, you miss some stuff.
I mean, I got the cowboy
you haven't seen it. You got the cowboy thing. Yes. That was in those episodes, wasn't it?
Well, there was that. A little bit of that, but also it was something you firmly established when we initially talking about the Tatami Galaxy.
Right. Yep. The cowboy is his penis.
Yep.
And it's
and if the visual is anything to go by,
about that.
She does not approve. Which, yeah, given the visualization, then this man has multiple dicks.
I mean, I think it's more accurate to say, like, not necessarily the penis itself, but libido in general.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Do we want to do just a brief plot rundown?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So, the basic idea is that there are 4 different parts of The Night is Short Walk On Girl. You have the first part where she is going through town, just drinking, and she engages in a drinking contest with Rihaku. Yes. Right? That's the okay. Who is this?
Aside from getting hammered with some sophists, I think they're called.
Sophists. Yeah.
Sophists. Okay.
It's like philosophy tangential stuff. Sophistry, that's there's the second part, which is about her going around at a used book fair trying to find a book that she had as a toddler, and then the senpai who has a crush on her also trying to do the same thing. Find the book that she specifically had. There is the school festival where Don Underwear is putting on a series of plays.
The best fucking part of the movie.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have a lot to say about that when we get to it. I think that was what got the most reaction from the theater I was in. So he's there's this guy putting on a play to find the sort of love of his life, this sort of past ship. And then there is the last part, which is basically everyone gets a cold, and Otome, we'll call her, since that's the closest thing to a name that she has, goes around trying to, just help out a bunch of different people. And like the thing about this and the Tatami Galaxy is like Yuasa kind of confirmed it, but it basically strikes me as kind of like an alternate universe or alternate telling of the Tatami Galaxy. Or at least some of the characters within, because it shares some characters. They're slightly different. And there are characters who aren't the same, but they feel like they're analogies of each other. Like neither of the, like, okay, so Akane in the Tatami Galaxy seems to be similar to Otome from The Night is Short, Walk On Girl. And then Senpai from The Night is Short, Walk On Girl seems to be similar to the unnamed protagonist of the Tatami Galaxy, who's simply known as Watashi. And if you know that and you're paying attention, you see that this senpai uses Watashi as a personal pronoun himself, which is... I
have to inquire something about Tatami Galaxy for a second.
Yes?
When it comes to food, are bento boxes Watashi's favorite?
I hate you.
Deliver your fuck yous unto me.
Yeah, it on the subject of eating though, like the way Yuasa portrays eating and drinking in here, with the way the entire body bulges as they swallow. That's the same with the...
I don't know. That's something I've noticed in, like, Ping Pong and Devilman Crybaby as well. There's always like these exaggerated features whenever it comes to partaking in sustenance.
Like a hamburger show?
Yes.
But no, it's not a burger.
I know, I'm not doing the bit.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Okay, burger.
Yeah, so basically similar characters. They have the similar, well, there's no actual names, so I feel like in a way they're supposed to be the same characters, only not the same characters, or like different incarnations of them. Yeah.
I have to ask, was the monkey on the Segway with the parrot a character in Tatami Galaxy?
That's a good question. Maybe. I think they maybe were part of the Secret Society episode.
Okay.
Which the head of the that place, what's his name? I don't remember his name. The guy in the...
Director Sleaze.
Yeah, Director Sleaze, as they call him. The guy in the purple uniform, he is, I think, different than, but analogous to a character from the Tatami Galaxy who is prominent in that episode. He has sort of a similar role there. And this is a fun thing. Like when you're in that area where, like in that sort of underground information gathering place, you see like images or whatnot flash on the screen, and you actually see some screenshots from the Tatami Galaxy.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep. Neat little touch.
Oh, speaking of neat little touches, a shout out to G-Kids for managing to slip in 2 fucks into a PG-13 movie.
Oh, was it PG-13?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, they weren't in English, so it doesn't count.
Yes. But still. Good job.
Yeah, I assumed it was R due to the fucks.
Yeah, nope.
So, yeah, I'm really happy with the fact that G Kids has just been bringing over so many different movies lately.
Yeah, we should get one of them on the podcast.
Yeah, what, the G Kids people?
Or just someone involved with it, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like Perfect Blue's coming to theaters soon. I'm stoked for that. That's if this is my second favorite anime film, Perfect Blue is my favorite.
Which I would totally go see if it wasn't for the fact that the showing is on a Thursday and Fridays at work kick my ass. So I can't sacrifice sleep.
All right, so a first part. What are your thoughts on the first part? The drinking bit, because you haven't seen it. I want your thoughts more than mine.
Like that one, I guess you can. I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the whole film. I guess that was sort of an adjustment period, I guess you can say, just trying to figure out what I was getting myself into, because I went into this totally blind. I just knew that some characters from Tatami Galaxy show up. It's by Yuasa. That's it. So I was trying to figure out what it was basically just an adjustment period of trying to figure out what I was getting into.
Yeah, and you kind of knew what you were getting into in terms of style, because
it's Yuasa.
Yeah, I mean, well, you've seen an episode of the Tatami Galaxy. You know what it looks like, how it's sort of animated.
But
I think the visuals in this first part are my favorite. Just like the bar visuals, the stuff with the drinks. They make the drinks look so beautiful. Like that bit in the bar where he's got they've got the glow in the background of the of like on the shelves. You see him mixing the drink, pouring it out. It's like, oh boy, I'm in for a treat. This is all the beauty of the Tatami Galaxy with the budget and effort of a movie.
But I think what ultimately, like the big clincher for me, was the Sophist dance. I was like, you got me. I am all in.
There's just no way to describe that. That's something you can't do in live action.
I mean, give me some space. I'll find a way. Yes, pie. Takia.
She hungry?
No, she's just been pissed because I had to give attention to the new puppy since Mom was out for most of the day because my sister hit her head, so she had to go to urgent care. She's fine, I think.
All right.
I didn't get an update, so I'm assuming she's okay. She's not dead.
This is where I think a lot of the themes of the film start really coming in, like pretty much off the bat, because you've got the idea of time. She shows her watch and it's just ticking normally, and the older sophists are like, oh wow, it's so slow, and she's like, what? No, it's normal. And then the older students, so like the young adults, younger adults, the millennials, they look at their they show their watches. They're like, ours move that, and it's moving faster. And the old men hold up their watches. They're like, ours move like this, and it's moving even faster. And then like at the end, Rihaku, you see his watch just moving at super speed.
Yeah.
Basically, the idea of time feels like it moves faster the later you get in life.
That's probably why he lost the drinking contest too.
Then there's like the idea of people being connected. This is where that starts.
That is like the biggest theme in there.
Yeah. Let's see here. There's someone whose work I read just recently. Per is their name. PER. Let me see if I can find the article again. I just want to give a shout out to it. Yep. Okay. They wrote an article called about The Night is Short, Walk On Girl called "Wishes Don't Fulfill Themselves." It's at purposefullylackluster.wordpress.com. You can find it there. Anyway, they had an interesting take on it, where basically, like, one of the big themes of the movie is, you know, people being connected, but it ties that into sort of the red string of fate, and how there's kind of like an idea of fate running through the movie, but the idea of making fate for yourself and not relying on fate to happen by coincidence or chance. Because like there's also a lot of that in the movie. So yeah, that was a really good article. I thought I read it just last night before watching the movie. Enhanced the experience for me. Give that article a read.
Okay.
But then let's see here. Other favorite moments from that first part, just they do this thing that's like kind of a fun optical illusion. Like it looks like she's holding a glass way out in front of herself, and it's a close up on, you know, the wine glass.
There was a couple of those in there, like especially in part 4, where I think the subtitles made it fuck with me even more.
But basically, like this moment, you know, it looks like she's holding this glass out in front of her, like, you know, like, you know, sort of close up to the camera or whatnot, and then, you know, you see people pouring drink in, and as more and more drink gets poured in, you realize, oh no, this is, you know, she's not holding this away from her, she's holding it closer to her, and it's just a really, really big glass. It's kind of, you know, an optical illusion joke that kind of dawns on you. It's one of my favorite visual moments of the film.
I love everything about this fucking movie.
It's so good.
Yes.
It's so good. Like,
and like, I'm not just saying that because I will suck Yuasa's cock. I'm saying
I suck it first.
Yeah. But God, this is a good movie.
It is. It's like I said, it's so dense. Like, I'm going to watch it tomorrow as well. It's screening tomorrow as well, and I'm sure I'm going to love it just as much tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't have another $13 to spare. Paycheck comes in on Friday.
Yeah. It's just a really good movie. And this first part, I think, a good introduction. At the end, they say that like the book kind of covers 4 seasons. Like the different parts are based off of seasons, kind of. So I assume that this is spring.
Yeah.
So
it makes sense. There's a lot of liveliness to it.
Mm-hmm. You want to move on to the second part?
Yes.
Used book fair.
I think this was probably the weaker one of the 4 parts.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not to say that it's bad by any means. I still enjoy it.
No. It's just like the one where what am I looking for here?
I don't know what word you're looking for.
Yeah, I don't know either. I had it. It's gone now.
It just kind of like it feels like, you know, kind of a falling action a little bit compared to the first one, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. So yeah, the basics of this one, again, the theme of connection. You get the idea that all books are connected. That's from the god of the used book fair, who looks like Ozu from the Tatami Galaxy as a little kid.
Did
you see Ozu in that episode at all?
I don't think so. I don't remember him.
I don't think he's very present in that episode. No. Yeah, I think that's the episode that he's least present in. So you've seen an episode of the Tatami Galaxy, but you don't know one of like the main characters.
Nope.
Yeah, basically, you know, it's again the idea of books as an ocean. This happens in the Tatami Galaxy as well. They use that visual metaphor. They kind of use it in Funeoame as well. The Endless Passage, or is that the name of it? The Endless Passage?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. That's the anime about making a dictionary.
And making it interesting.
Yeah. So I wonder if this is just like a common metaphor in Japan. There are so many motifs and metaphors just all over this movie. The Daruma, the train, the apple, the carp.
Oh man, I want that carp jacket / backpack. I would kill for that.
It's pretty cute. Let's see here. The red string of fate, probably.
Oh yeah, definitely. That Nabe battle to the death.
Yeah, that was probably the most interesting part.
Yeah.
Obviously, the intense heat going along with the summer season metaphor.
I do like the bit with Rihaku. And it's just like, yeah, you can pick through all these books, including this one that a specific Otome is looking for.
Yeah, he knows what he's up to. There's like definitely some magical realism running through this thing. Like very low magical realism, but there's just sort of these mystical things that you can't quite explain. There's something like it's not quite our world.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Again, like the red string of fate. I think the only moment where I really noticed a literal red string of fate is when either I forget whether it was Otome or the used book.
It was Otome.
Okay, like the tent that they're having the spicy nabe competition to win the book from, like the tent that's happening in is held up by ropes, and one of the ropes holding it is red for whatever reason. So she's pulling on the red string of fate, quite literally. So I think that was the only time I actually noticed it in the film. I know that it's on the cover as well, or the cover of the novel, where Senpai is just completely tangled up in a red string.
But yeah, also side note, apparently Otome is voiced by Kana Hanazawa. Oh lordy.
Really?
Yep. She's in fucking everything.
I've seen this 4 times and I still haven't realized that?
Yeah.
How did...
And speaking of, they still have not changed her picture on Wikipedia. The semi-horrified expression from 9 years ago.
I have to look this up because I'm sure I've looked at this before, but is it really?
Yep.
Yeah, that's Kana Hanazawa. Okay.
Oh lordy.
Wow. I can't believe I hadn't noticed that before. I'm so disappointed in myself. I mean, when she's in everything, you know, her voice just starts to sound normal, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not a lot to say about this part. It just kind of sets up the third part.
Which, oh my god, is amazing.
Yeah. So let's get to some of that setup. you start to see, a cold spreading through everything. Different people are catching a cold. You have, you really sort of get the backstory of Don Underwear, who is one of the best characters in the movie by far.
Oh yeah,
a guy who's known as Don Underwear because he has not changed his underwear since the day he saw this one girl sitting opposite him on a bench at a school festival,
which was a year ago.
And like apple carts must have tipped over simultaneously on either side of them, and an apple hit each of their heads at the same time. And they shared that moment. He's like, it must be fate. I fell in love immediately.
Yeah. And so he figures the best way to get her to come out is to start doing basically guerrilla theater.
I love the guerrilla theater stuff so much.
Yes. Which in guerrilla we mean like flash mob kind of thing, not the monkeys.
Yeah.
Both of which would be equally awesome.
So have you ever seen Futurama, Chris?
Yes, I have.
Do you know the episode The Devil's Hands Are Idle Playthings? The original thing. The only thing I can think of when watching, this every time is the line where, the audience members start singing along with the musical that Fry's writing. And like one of Zoidberg's lines is, "I can't believe everyone's ad-libbing."
It was a mix of that and Dayman from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, the play version?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not super familiar with that, but I think I have seen that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, thinking back on it now, because it's essentially like a proposal in sorts.
Yes.
Like nested in a musical. Yeah, we get some callbacks to the Tatami Galaxy, primarily in the form of Joe Gasaki as a character in the play. They're doing a character assassination on him for his more unusual tendencies.
Yes.
Which,
okay. I think I was the only one who caught that line about the fact that he likes the cross-dress for something that later happens in this part. Because I feel like in that theater, I was the only one who just instantly knew what was about to happen.
Oh, not Joe Gasaki. Joe Gasaki's the different character. He's the one from the Tatami Galaxy.
Oh.
It's the what's he referred to as? Yeah,
that's who I was thinking. Director Sleazy.
Yeah, Director Sleaze. That's the only name I can remember, so we're just going to call him Director Sleaze from now on. Director Sleaze is a friend of Joe Gasaki's, who is apparently in the Bedroom Investigation Club or whatever it's called.
Yes.
Which is like there's all sorts of side characters or whatnot in this who are connected in little ways. You see so much of it in the opening part. It's just too dense to get into everyone. There's this one guy who is he runs into Otome early on in the bar, and he's related to a few side characters in there. He's part of this group that gathers erotic art. Essentially, they're erotic art collectors. Include, I believe one of the prints was of The Fisherman's Wife.
Yes.
So we're talking, classic erotic art.
And eat the good shit.
Yeah, I consider myself to be a purveyor of those fine arts myself. But there is like one thing that becomes kind of important. It's just an offhanded thing. A tornado comes at one point that was maybe started by Rihaku.
It might have been.
I'm not sure. I think it might have been. I'm not sure. There's implications that maybe it was, but it's not entirely clear. Anyway, that pulls out of the carp. It pulls all the carp out of his carp pond. That like he owns a fishing pond, I think it is, and that more or less bankrupts him. So that's why he has to sell his collection. Anyway, minor detail that comes in important later. Anyway, school festival.
God, it was amazing.
So good. Just guerrilla theater. They're like it's being written on the fly.
Yeah.
Like they're one performance ahead, and this is all going down in one night. Everything is just completely ad-libbed. What else? Like they basically mark the locations they're going to perform at by leaving a Dharma, like that round red doll.
Yeah.
At a kotatsu, like a traveling kotatsu. It's two different things. It's being written, and then like they mark the location, they run on to the next location and start writing the next part. Let's see here. I think they captured 10 different actresses.
Yes.
that was playing the Dharma girl, I believe was the role. Dharma princess, something along those lines.
Yeah.
But basically it's all a plot to kind of smoke out this girl that he met a year ago and, meet her. And it all culminates in just this absolutely wonderful performance. Let's see here. Otome gets roped into being the princess because the previous 10 were captured. She's just learning her lines on the fly. Performing these musical numbers that she just learned. And like you've got Senpai running around trying to stop the finale, which is going to be this love scene. He doesn't want her kissing someone else.
Especially
least of all,
underwear.
yeah, especially not Dawn underwear. So like he basically goes chasing after him. He impedes the progress of Director Sleaze. Like he rips his pants off and throws them in the trash to like in a trash fire to slow him down. Gets on the roof. Takes like a flying fox down to the like a zip line, like down to the stage, interrupting the kiss. And this is where it just goes to completely surreal. You want to take this part, Chris?
It is just this amazing, this amazing musical number. It starts as like this, just love confession between Otome and Dawn Underwear, and then Senpai slides in, dodges in, they start their own number. Trapdoor opens up under Senpai. Dawn Underwear comes back in to call upon his girl. The Apple Girl jumps up, it's like, oh, it's me, and then it's revealed to be Director Sleaze. Which, again, I was apparently the only one who saw this coming.
I mean, I saw it coming, but I'd also seen it 3 times before, so...
Like, just because of that offhanded line and the fact that voice sounded real masculine. But, so there's a number between them, and then, like, the director girl, who was in part with this girl affair, makes her confession. And he's like, no, I don't care if it's a dude. I love you regardless. And
I think it's what I fell in love with was the moment that 2 apples hit heads. It was, fate rather than, a person, even if it happens to be a man. They start to kiss. I think they're both holding back a little bit because neither actually wants to go through it.
Yeah.
She's, the director, she's holding up her fist to like, basically keep this going. We'll run with this. She's brokenhearted.
Oh wait, I did really like that just one little throw in when like a senpai slides in and some guy's just like, who the hell's this?
Yeah, the crowd's like, what's going on? Let's see here. Senpai triggers the trap door again, drops it drops Director Sleaze down, interrupting yet another kiss.
Yeah.
I think this is the third interrupted kiss at this point.
Yep.
And
then the carp storm comes.
Yep. And Don Underwear and the director both looking at each other, carp drop on each of their head at the same time.
A literal take on Carpe Diem, huh?
Yeah. You know, Don Bancho just like, and the new musical number starts. I found a new love. She gets pulled up on stage. Everyone's cheering. It's, you know, do it, kiss her. Fourth kiss is interrupted as he sneezes. He's caught a cold as well.
That part was just, oh my god, I was near in tears from all that.
With laughter or
with
what?
Laughter.
Yeah. It's just such, it feels like the climax of the movie, but there's still a whole nother part after that.
And the comedic timing is just fucking spot on.
Yeah. This was anyway, that whole part I think was the autumn season.
Yes.
Which I guess apples tie into that, you know, apple harvest.
Well, school festivals are usually in the fall.
School festivals in autumn. It uses a very warm orangish color palette as opposed to earlier ones.
And also, fall is the best season. Fight me. This was the best part. It links together.
I have no strong feelings one way or the other.
I just call it like I see it.
And then that kind of leads us into the fourth part, where it's revealed that basically everyone has caught a cold that started with Rihaku, and Otome is just traveling around town. Obviously, winter tying into colds. You know, the town becomes very windy and harsh. She's wearing like, you know, a darker coat. It's dark. It's, you know, later at night, so she's wearing a heavier coat. You know, very clearly the winter phase. So
yeah, this is also the most gorgeously animated part of all four, in my opinion. Just, all right, I want to say it's. I really am torn between spring and winter as for what is Yuasa at his best.
It's very different types.
Yeah,
you know, spring is more, you know, traditionally visually beautiful, whereas winter is kind of just a deranged, wonderful spectacle, because like the whole thing ends in like a literal fever dream. Like you're watching an actual fever dream. And it's fantastic, the way that it ends up, you know, playing out here. So I guess, you know, you want to give your thoughts on this part first?
Well, again, one, I was still bamboozled that there was still another part. I'm just like, okay, where's this going? And then we get into basically what is the embodiment of all the anxiety that goes on in my head. And I don't know, that I mean, not to play on with the themes, but I really connected with this piece. I thought it to be very relatable.
Yeah, I think like we'll maybe talk about this afterwards a little bit, but like I didn't really like Senpai this much, like up until this point in the movie.
Up until that point, I was just like, is he really gonna get the girl? Does he really deserve the girl?
Yeah. But like it's taken me several viewings to come around to it. You know, we'll get to that later, but this is kind of like the culmination of the love story, where you know he gets severely sick and she realizes, oh, maybe I am in love with this guy. I do, you know, feel something for him, and you know, essentially, she realizes she needs to learn to slow down and let others keep up with her because it, you know, the point that's positive is she's moving so fast. She's like, you know, a runaway train in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You know, again, you know, the train motif coming back. She's this runaway train that everyone has trouble keeping up with, and that's kind of left her isolated in some ways. And she's realized in sort of a weird way that the senpai that she keeps running into by chance all this time, you know, just pure coincidence,
Yeah.
is like he's still keeping pace with her somehow. So yeah, basically she's just going around through town, you know, helping everyone out. She says that, you know, she and Coles have never got along too well.
Well, her and the God of Colds, yes.
Yeah, her and the God of Colds is the specific phrase she uses. I think there might be something to, you know, the Japanese superstition that idiots don't catch colds. Like she's not an idiot, but she is kind of naive. She's an airhead. Yeah, Yuasa himself says as much in the interviews at the end. I mean, she's just a little airheaded, and you know she's not catching this cold. So she's going around helping out all these other people. Dawn Underwear has like this absolutely ridiculous cure for a cold or something.
Yes, Coca-Cola and ginger broiled.
Boiled Coke and ginger. You gotta love Dawn Underwear.
Yeah, God bless him.
He's so good. But yeah, essentially she gathers all these things through her trips. She goes to meet Koharu, and it's where we get sort of the culmination of the things. They really hammer home that everyone is connected. Even you, Koharu, even you who feel so isolated. And I'm just realizing now, kind of as I'm saying this, that you know, she's talking to Koharu about how, you know, he feels isolated and, you know, alone and whatnot. But, you know, it also plays with the idea that she and Senpai also very much feel that way. But, you know, they're all connected, just like all us as people are connected, just as everything in the world is connected. So yeah, we get the scene where, you know, she kind of helps him come to that enlightenment. His clock starts running backwards, which I still don't get quite what that means. And you know, she goes off to, you know, meet up with Senpai because she realizes that, you know, they kind of need each other. And do you kind of want to go into the sequence that we get next, the fever dream?
Yes, the storming of the castle. I don't even know how to describe it.
Well, it starts in this boardroom kind of where I think there may be representations of his logic.
Yeah.
Start you know, they're just arguing back and forth with each other. You know, as you alluded to earlier, he's maybe having an anxiety attack of some sort. It's just a lot of self-loathing, a lot of overthinking of, you know, the relationship that the two of them have. It's, you know, there's not a lot of animation in this scene. actually. Like
Yeah.
it's a unique visual that isn't animated for the most part. And then the Johnnies, the representations of the libido, literally stormed the castle with a battering ram.
Yeah, that was great. And then like she storms the castle when she gets there, and she's like tossing out like pretty much all the gifts she got on her journey here to like knock back all the little anxiety wrigglers. that might be the best thing to call them by.
Anxiety wrigglers, or like maybe they're the cold, because
Yeah,
like
that too.
she defeats them with soup and lozenges and Pepto-Bismol, not Pepto-Bismol, cough syrup probably.
Yeah, you're Sudafed.
Yeah. They, and then like the wind blows her up, like she's lifted up by her dress, kind of. It billows out. You get kind of the whole Madonna thing. Not Madonna. What's her name?
Kiki?
No, Marilyn Monroe.
Okay.
You get kind of like the Marilyn Monroe dress thing, only like with it billows out kind of like a parachute.
Okay, I don't know. I was kind of thinking Kiki's delivery service there.
Oh, no. Kiki and Marilyn Monroe, same person. Like I think she kind of looks like an apple with the way it billows out and lifts her up. In a way, I think that might be intentional. And then like the Johnnies shoot a hole through the dress or the parachute, and I think she's about to fall down into into a giant Johnny's mouth, which I'm still not sure what all that represents. It's a very dense thing. This whole sequence is a literal fever dream. And then you get Senpai diving down, rescues her.
He has heart wings.
He rescues her literally on the wings of love. And they start
Osmond?
and they're flying, and there's just a really nice exchange. She says, "Senpai, you came to rescue me. Look, the scenery is so beautiful from above." And he says something about, "I'm already looking at the most beautiful thing there is. Besides, with wings of this shape, I can only look at you. It's like I need to look at you."
Fucking smooth.
And then he wakes up, finds out she's been caring for him, sees the book that he's got with him. She's like, this is my childhood book, Ratatatam. And she starts reading through it. He's like, I happened upon it by chance. You can have it if you want. And then like this is where I really have to thank Per for their analysis. Just the fact that they made this theme of capitalizing on the idea of fate, and not just being a passive bystander in it. This is where it really, I think, is most evident, because you see like the little hymns or whatnot pushing himself forward after he gives his stock. Well, it was just coincidence line. He takes matters into his own hands. He's like, hey, I know this used book place. Do you want to go there sometime? She says, I love to. And they're set up on a first date, essentially.
Yeah.
The next morning, they, the next day, they basically go, and then she catches a cold.
Yes.
The cold after that. And maybe with the whole idiots catch cold thing, maybe that's a statement of saying, hey, I've realized, my feelings for this guy. I'm a little less naive now. I'm a little older, a little wiser. And maybe that's a way of saying that she's grown out of some form of idiocy in some sense. The fact that she was able to catch that cold at the end, maybe, I don't know. It's a dense movie. It could mean something. It could
Yeah.
nothing. So the next day, they're meeting up for coffee before going, and she's like, I couldn't sleep. I wanted to ask him about what sort of night he had, at all these places, that this night that felt like a year, and then he's thinking the same thing. I want to ask her about this night that felt like a year.
Let me tell you something, Otome. I spent the night pantsless more than I really should.
Well, if he's lucky, he'll spend the next night pantsless more than he
Yeah.
or maybe just as much as he should. But yeah, that's essentially the end of the movie. They walk in, they say, meeting here like this, it must have been fate. So, and then we get the Asian Kung Fu Generation music to play us out.
Yep.
So, I love this movie overall. Obviously, Chris, you said you love this movie overall.
I adored it.
I
said if I had the money and the sleep to do it, I'd totally go back tomorrow to see it again.
Yeah, I'm sure it's getting a physical release. I think is doing a physical release. I think the book is getting a physical release. I saw.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm holding hope out for Tatami Galaxy as well.
Oh yeah, side note about people liking it. Fuck you to Kevin Marr for being the only negative review on Rotten Tomatoes for it.
What? Fuck you, Kevin Marr.
Yeah.
He just doesn't get fine art.
Apparently.
So, I don't know. The first time I watched it, I thought, well, it was good. Not as good as the Tatami Galaxy, I don't think. I'll give it 4 stars, not quite a 5-star. But by this point, like, I've seen it 4 times. I'm going to see it a 5th. And it hasn't even been, a year since I first seen it. Obviously, it's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I guess I want to talk about the two potentially negative stuff, 2 potentially negative things about the movie, or 2 drawbacks to it that I think people might have that I kind of maybe don't agree with anymore, but like the first viewings through, I don't know how comfortable I was with them. And the first one would be the relationship between Senpai and Otome.
Yeah.
It comes across as a little stalkery for a while.
Yeah.
So I guess.
And I could also, people starting to get flustered midway, like, thinking that Senpai's logic of, I got you this book. Will I get my dick sucked now?
Yeah. I think they kind of bring it together a little better in the 4th part.
Yeah.
And now, like, having seen it 4 times, having, kind of a broader understanding of the themes, I'm a little more okay with it. It still doesn't feel like a love story for the ages, though.
Yeah.
So, and I think...
But then again, that one sophist did say, the best kind of marriage is one where you don't fall in love with someone.
Right, because love clouds your judgment, and you need to be logical. You can't make good decisions if you marry someone you love. So you should marry someone you don't love.
Yep.
So yeah, I think the big part of it, though, is that Otome is just such a strong character. Like, she's such, she's an independent woman who don't need no man. Like, that's my thoughts on it for the whole movie. And like, I don't know. It's just kind of,
Well, let's be fair. She sobered up.
yeah. She's definitely sober enough to make the decision by that point.
Yeah.
She ran around that night. She worked it off pretty quickly. Although with as much as she drank,
Yeah. God damn, that girl. That girl puts a lot of heavy drinkers to shame.
I know, and for like a girl as small and slight as she is, like, how does she do it? Like, generally, like the smaller you are, the worse your alcohol tolerance is. But she's putting that away. It's impressive. Um, but yeah, it's the sort of thing where I think because we're seeing this from her perspective, it makes sort of his perspective seem kind of skeevy because I mean it's not that she doesn't need love, um, or that like she's it seems like she's fine without love, but that's mostly because she's just oblivious to it. And she seems to consent and come around to it, and it's not like his efforts won her over necessarily. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. It just feels he still feels a little "our nice guys," you know?
Yeah.
Um, Matome. I don't know. I've kind of warmed up on it some, you know, there's just too much to do, I think, in that entire thing to tell the story properly. And again, with that article that Per wrote, the idea of, well, don't be because like he's kind of the hero as well. Like she's the heroine, but he's the supporting hero. Um, and a big part of the story, like if the story was told from his perspective more, I think it's something that people would see as less okay. Well, don't just follow her around and hope something happens. Step out, take the chance. Be someone who is proactive in love rather than passive in love, because that's better than just kind of creeping around. I think I think that's what the movie is ultimately saying. Um,
Yeah.
I think if it were a little more from his perspective, um, it would be something that I would be more comfortable with overall. Uh, because I can kind of see it now. It just does make it seem a little bit like she maybe doesn't have full agency in the whole thing. But it's I think that's the one kind of major knock that I have against the movie. And, like I've said, I've kind of come around to accept it as maybe not that much of a knock overall. Um,
I can understand.
yeah. Uh, the other thing is, yeah, I don't even know how this movie treats sexuality.
Yeah.
It's because it's
Like, I don't see anyone up in arms about it, so I guess they did it right.
yeah, like I think they ultimately did it right is all I can come to the conclusion of. It's not like uh I don't know. There's obviously something going on with, cross-dressing and gender identity and sexuality and whatnot, just throughout the entirety of the third part. And just due to the circumstances and the fact that it's also rapid fire, it's hard to tell what exactly is being said. I don't think it actually does anything that is outright offensive. I think I can say that much.
Yeah.
I mean, a straight cis white man with making judgment calls on that. whatever. But
Yeah, I'm just like I don't really have any say in sexuality. I just sort of fucking roll with it.
yeah, it's just something that I think could be weird for people.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're a homophobe, it turns you off or something. Maybe if, you are very, pro. I don't even have the right terminology to use, I guess. It's not a world I'm deeply entrenched in. Um, let's say even if you're very sex and gender identity positive, I think that it's something that could potentially be a turnoff. But I think, from my perspective overall, I think it was something that was handled well enough.
So that's pretty much all I have to say on the movie.
Yeah, it's an amazing movie. Oh, there's so much I could say. There's so much I could say. I'm definitely getting it on disc if and when it comes out. I'm getting the novel if and when it comes out. I'm seeing it again tomorrow. Grade A movie, 5 stars.
Yes, definitely watch it.
Yeah. And I don't know. Maybe we'll rip the audio from this, put it in a podcast feed.
Yeah. There's always the year-end stuff.
Yeah.
That gets released in June.
Yeah. We'll maybe get on it a little quicker this time.
Yeah.
Especially since I have the sense it's going to be a lot shorter. I haven't watched a lot from this year.
Neither have I.
I'm going to be talking so much more about manga and movies.
I'm going to be talking about Summer. That's the most I've watched. I think that's the one that's had the best show so far.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think anyone's actually watching. So otherwise,
everyone is sleeping on Chio School Road. What the fuck?
I should watch. There's like, I think 3 things that I mean to watch, but I'm backlogging right now. It's a refreshing change of pace for me.
Yeah.
I think I just needed a year to kind of step back from anime a little bit, work on some other stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll maybe do this for Perfect Blue or something. Maybe I'll find someone else too. I don't know. Yeah, Chris, you said you probably wouldn't be able to.
Probably wouldn't be able to.
So maybe I'll find someone else with Blue. I don't know what I might do. I may end up watching Perfect Blue with my little sister. I was gonna watch this with her. She ended up being busy.
Which one?
My middle.
Okay.
The one who's
checking.
Yeah. The one who is most receptive to anime, probably. Well, I wouldn't say most receptive. The one who is both fairly receptive to anime and also, someone I can take to a slightly more mature movie. I think she might really like Perfect Blue. It's a little racier at times. I'm gonna have to warn her about that, but I think she'll ultimately like it. So, good movie.
Yes.
So, I guess that's all we had to say.
Yeah.
So, bye.
Bye.